Hi, I'm Paul. My channel, I've called it Spirituality, Philosophy, and Psychology. There's a reason for that. So, when I started off my journey, I started off studying psychology. And then, when I moved past that, I started studying philosophy, so on. But when I started studying psychology, I had a mission, and it was to understand what narcissism was. But I did study other stuff as well. I listened to doctors, professors, specialists, therapists. But within 4 years of studying, just couldn't find answers. I couldn't meet things together and it became really obvious. But I just couldn't paint a full picture to understand, to actually say, I've got it, I know what it is. All I kept on hearing was some people behave like this and this is related to this. And I just couldn't come up with any answers. So then I decided to try to understand psychology through my own mind. Started to look inside, and turns out I've got 40 odd years worth of people's behaviors, my own behaviors in my own mind. So I started looking in my own mind, and all of a sudden it was as if I was able to paint a picture, put it all together, paint a picture of a complete. It wasn't obvious to me at the time that what the problem is through thought and words, everything's fragmented. But it was obvious to me that while studying psychology, I couldn't put anything together. So then obviously I started putting things together in my own mind, and I started coming up with answers. And then maybe within 6 to 9 months, I came up with the answer. I finally made it. I reached a point. I had a complete picture in my mind of what's going on, and from that complete picture, I could divert off it and work out other situations in other people. Finally got to tell myself what narcissism actually is, what causes it. Psychology didn't teach me that. So then once I reached that point, I had more answers, more questions, sorry. So then I went on to philosophy. Once again, I started listening to other people, and realized again that I just couldn't paint a picture. So I started trying to study philosophy in my own mind and try and put all the pieces together in my own mind. I started to paint a picture. Really felt like I was getting somewhere from doing this. Listening to other people was kind of just temporarily filling the hole. So then I understood philosophy, and that shifted me onto spirituality, non-duality in that as well. Once again, listening to other people just kind of kept me going. But I couldn't paint a full picture. It just made me seek and seek and seek. See, it seems it's only when you turn into your own mind. You can't really listen to anybody, even me. You can listen to me, but I have no answers. I can suggest things. I can talk about things. And if you just say, well, I'll take your word for it, you're not going into your own mind. Some of my other videos I've talked about what happiness is. I've tried to give my answers. And if you just listen to my answers, you're just not going to reach where you want. The idea is perhaps take my ideas, pop them on a shelf in your head, and then you start looking in your own mind. Don't use my ideas, just look in your own mind. Try to piece things together. A lot of spirituality and non-duality and all the other things, we have ideas of there's higher power, there's a soul, there's something more than this, and nothing exists. Where's that going to take you? You see, in psychology, we describe the ego, or the bit of the ego that we're aware of, as being like an iceberg. And there's just a small tip of the iceberg above the water. And yet most of the ego is below the water. You see, the bit of an iceberg which is above the water, which suggests that's our conscious ego. But it's no different to the rest of the iceberg. It's just a bit that we see. The rest of it we can't see. To try and find this enlightenment, awakening, that's the place to start. Try and find what's under the water. Really dig deep. If you want to find out what there is beyond the world, or what does exist or what doesn't exist, I recommend trying to find that later. To try and listen to somebody else or gain the idea of there's something else beyond the earth and yet you don't know, just makes you seek. Just makes you keep on running. Just look inside your own mind. What's there is there. What you find inside your own mind, you won't be seeking for more. Whatever you hear of somebody else, you'll just want more. So, anyway, I think that's all I've got to say. Thanks for listening, and you're probably not going to carry on listening. I hope you do. Just don't take what I say for granted. Just listen to it. The most important job of it all, if you really want to find spirituality, is to find it inside your own mind, not to be misled or led by what somebody says. Anyway, thanks for listening.